And so today I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election, and that my term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February.
Score one for Team Freedom, and things might not be as bad as the globalists might want you to think they are. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and we have a plethora of absolutely crazy news to get into today, as it seems like every day the situation just keeps getting crazier and crazier, especially with the fourth industrial revolution that the Davos World Economic Forum is salivating for. This, as it looks like their national security, one world order, great reset, build back better agenda actually might be in trouble. We're going to be talking about that plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. And if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was originally shared by someone online. I don't know who did this, but if you know who did, let me know down in the comment section below. It could be, I think, Real Roots Khan. If this person has a YouTube channel, we, of course, will be linking it down below to give full accreditation and credit. Help me find the source, as this meme video is absolutely hilarious, and I think perfectly captures the moment of what many New Zealanders and many people critical of the internationalist agenda felt when they heard the news just a couple hours ago that the BlackRock enthusiast World Economic Forum order following Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda, resigned in disgrace after, of course, being extremely unpopular. This not only being the only shock to a lot of powerful people in the establishment, as just moments ago we found out that Alec Baldwin and the Rust female armorer will actually be charged with involuntarily manslaughter over the fatal shooting that happened on October of 2021 on the filming of a major Hollywood movie. Charges that could make Alec Baldwin sit in jail for up to 18 months. And a lot of people who've been paying attention to the story's reaction to this is, finally, that took long enough, as of course there was multiple discrepancies, multiple different versions of events, lots of twists and turns in this official story that kept changing, and a lot of people were raising some serious concerns about what was happening here. And now, with an upcoming trial, we could actually find out what really happened during, of course, this tragic moment that has garnered a lot of media attention. Another story that I think deserves a little bit more attention than just what happened to Alec Baldwin is the latest bombshell information of people putting the pieces together and discovering that Hunter Biden lived in the house where classified documents were kept by Joe Biden when he was the Vice President of the United States, while at the same time raking in millions of dollars through Chinese government-run corporations, which of course he had a lot of nefarious ties to because he was, you know, the son of the vice president and one of the biggest career politicians in Washington, D.C. at the time. This, of course, should spark a lot of national security concerns, as there is extensive business ties between the Bidens and governments, along with many private entities in Russia, in Ukraine, in China, just to name a few countries. This, as allegedly Hunter Biden was paying his father $50,000 in rent monthly, according to some documents that were released. The same amount of money that, of course, he was being paid by a communist Chinese state-run corporation. This, of course, not surprising to a lot of other people who are paying attention to what's happening in Washington, D.C., since, of course, career politicians are known for their corruption. This, as, of course, they sell this country out for their own personal benefit, enriching themselves while screwing everyone else over. This to the point where now many people are conflating that the U.S. inflation numbers are as high as the president's son. This, as the U.S. government has just hit its $31.4 trillion borrowing limit. Yes, you heard that correctly. America has officially hit $31 trillion debt ceiling. This showing you the largely irresponsible federal bureaucratic government that has been spending money like it's going out of fashion. This as the U.S. debt is now 120% of the GDP and is equaling to nearly $250,000 of debt per taxpayer, figures that are more than the economies of China, Japan, Germany, and the United Kingdom combined. This as we are headed towards a total economic meltdown. This as prices of things like eggs have skyrocketed 140% in the past 12 months, as you are being financially ruined by a lot of centralized DC bureaucrats taking orders from the World Economic Forum, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But that doesn't mean you have to be screwed, and especially if you're a member of LukeUncensored.com, your chances of being screwed are a lot less likely, especially if you're paying attention to what's going on and being a part of the larger community and videos that we do only for members about spicy hot button issues that we cannot discuss here on this particular broadcast. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 1996 Big Pharma experiments that happened in Africa that are absolutely eye-opening to say the least, as well as the former president of the United States that looks like he is either one of the most ignorant presidents of the United States or someone who has been, of course, compromised. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all as well as taking your questions through our forum on LukeUncensored.com. We got a lot of incredible offers for you. Lots of really funny, fun things that you could only get as a member at cost available to you. To be on the inside of the jokes and the pranks and the goofs, well, you just got to be a member of LukeUncensored.com, and I will see you there right after this video. This says, of course, right now the World Economic Forum is still continuing in their Davos summit on one of the biggest mountains in all of Europe, discussing how people will be owning nothing, having no privacy, and allegedly their life will be better when they give up all of their rights and privileges and economic prosperity to, of course, internationalists, globalists, and elites like the Maxwell family and other big banksters and corporate heads that are known for their ruthless business tactics. This as the corporate media, including larger institutions like CBS News, have been running cover for this elitist confab that wants to take everything away from you with brain-scattering, absolutely insane, nonsensical, out-of-touch with reality articles like this, with headlines reading, quote, "As elites gather in Davos, conspiracy theories gain traction online," rewriting their headlines and also allegedly having previous headlines talking about how it's bizarre to claim that the super rich actually are in control of some institutions, which they clearly are. And this larger gaslighting by the corporate media doesn't work. It only truly shows the larger power and influence of institutions like Bank of America, whose CEO is at Davos right now, admitting that they are building a Chinese totalitarian-like social credit score system, saying specifically if you are below a certain score that they will refuse to do business with you, all trying to convince the people of the world with generic, bland talking points, like talking about the need to reboot capitalism. They're not talking about rebooting capitalism. They're talking about implementing a top-down communistic way of government where the stakeholders will be some of the biggest corporations in this world that will only be empowered to do more things with government that is using the threat of force to push their will onto you. And what the CEO of Bank of America is calling for is exactly what's happening right now in China. Deutsche Bank decided to get in on this larger scheme. Today at the World Economic Forum, their CEO described how now carbon emission reporting will be needed in order to, of course, lend and invest money with their larger financial institution that is known for their corrupted business practices with Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, because there's nothing else that I love than a corrupted enabler of an international extortion and trafficking of children monster than to have them lecture me about how they're doing great things in this world. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to be a little bit skeptical here. And when it comes to these larger financial institutions, we have to understand that these are institutions that have done some absolutely evil things, and to have them be empowered even more through the World Economic Forum is a dangerous move that is absolutely reckless, and we should be extremely skeptical of, as of course the plan is that your rights, your ability, your private property will be slowly and surely taken away from you. We heard this again reiterated by the Saudi Arabian diplomat at Davos today that's talking about how there will be no cars in the future, nowhere to escape, 15-minute sustainable neighborhoods, which are essentially prisons, as you're being tracked, traced, and databased by artificial intelligence, facial recognition, arbitrarily practiced health passports, as the war criminal himself, the former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, openly declared that they need, and they are openly building, a global health passport system where your private medical records will be used in order to grant you access to specific territories and, of course, deny you access. And why would anyone go along with more bureaucracy, more checkpoints, more places that you have to, again, be compliant with in order just to live in this freaking world? Well, they're doing this all under the disguise of helping the environment and planet, as, of course, Al Gore gave a crazy speech about rain bombs and boiling oceans. Nonsensical, sensationalistic, emotional-based mind control dribble, as he couldn't contain himself with his fear-mongering that absolutely has no actual basis in reality. And a lot of people realize this, and a lot of people have been pushing back against this, and this could be why the Prime Minister of New Zealand just announced her resignation, as her World Economic Forum Black Rock policies that she has been instituting in New Zealand were extremely unpopular, and many political experts were saying that she would get absolutely ruined in the next upcoming election, since her popularity went down dramatically, since, of course, she was acting like a total totalitarian dictator. This, as some people are saying, that she might even face prosecution for her crimes against humanity, as she was arbitrarily punishing people for not complying with her whims, and even daring to declare that the government, that herself in that position of power that she abused, was, quote, the single source of truth. And unless the people of New Zealand heard it from her, it was, quote, not the truth. This is how out of touch with reality a lot of these dystopian, power-hungry, unethical, some would even say satanic, evil human beings actually were, where they were saying crazy things like this without even having the fear of being countered.
And when you see those messages, remember that unless you hear it from us, it is not the truth. And I really ask people, just visit.
And this was one statement out of many statements that were met by a lot of absolutely nasty actions by this bureaucrat that enforced their will and punished people for just trying to live their lives. Families were separated, people were arrested, abused, beat up, locked away for doing simple things like even walking down the street. Policies that, of course, were incentivized, pushed on by the World Economic Forum, that was cheering on lockdowns, calling for more severe lockdowns, while telling everyone that the model for the world is what the Chinese government was doing with its citizens, which it literally was treating them worse off than animals, as people were disappeared, welded inside of their own homes, denied access to food, and had their pets bludgeoned in front of them, all a part of a health policy that, of course, was cheered on by Klaus Schwab, saying more, more, more. And with Jacinda's resignation today, and a lot of people calling out the bull crap of Klaus Schwab, including, of course, even Elon Musk, addressing a lot of the hypocrisy here. Is this signaling trouble for the globalists and the Davos elites? Well, what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way right now on LukeUncensored.com. This one you won't want to miss. See you there.